A couple years ago, we actually did a series that we called Workflow, which was a series on kind of faith and work integration specifically. But I think one of the challenges in the church is when we tend to think about kind of doing God's work. There's been this disconnect, I think, with how being faithful to God and our convictions as followers of Jesus can actually play itself out in our 9-to-5s, right? In our work, in our jobs. I kind of likened it to, so I think, at least for me in my experience, I think the church hasn't been super helpful, right, in terms of helping people think about that. And what we tend to communicate, whether overtly or not, we tend to communicate that there's almost like this hierarchy of like living for Jesus, right? So like as a pastor, that's kind of like, that's when you're like fully living for Jesus, right? Because you've given like your entire life. Or when you're a missionary, right? And you go and serve, somewhere overseas. One of the things that we talk about at Marketplace Church is, and part of the reason why we call it Marketplace Church, is this idea that we're all called to be missionaries, just in different contexts. That every single one of us is a missionary. And most of us, our mission field is where we spend our time. And much of our time that we spend living and existing and breathing is actually at work. I think there's a study, the average person works 100,000 hours in their lifetime. It's crazy. The only thing you do more than work is watch television, which is, I think they say at 140,000 hours.
Wow, entertainment.
And sleeping at 150,000 hours.
Right.
So the top three things that we spend as human beings, we spend our time doing is sleeping, watching TV, and working, right? And I think that's this crazy disconnect.
That's weird.
Of like, okay, we spend 100,000 hours of our living, breathing moments working. But most of us, I think there was a Gallup poll survey done back in 2013. They said 73% of American employees either hate their jobs or they're disengaged with their work. So that's just how people feel about their work. And then on top of that, then when you show up in church and we tell you, well, if you're gonna faithfully follow Jesus, like keep doing your job, keep working. I know it sucks, but it's so you can make some money so that you can actually tie it to the church and support the church. But then every other additional hour that you have, like serve in this ministry, right? Get on the worship team, lead a Bible study, go to this and go to that. And that's kind of what we inadvertently, I think, communicate to people in the church is, excuse me, your work is kind of a means to an end, the necessary evil, so to speak. And we're not really helping people think more, thoughtfully.